We got a matchup between SVSU versus Northern Michigan, two teams that have been struggling quite a bit this year so far. You have SVSU at 1-3 on the year. You have Northern Michigan at 0-2 on the year, coming off of bye weeks, trying to get things right, trying to get things rolling. And I truly think this is an opportunity to do so. I think this is an opportunity for two teams that have struggled a little bit defensively. SVSU has given up about 32 points per game. Northern Michigan has given up 30 points a game versus two offenses that, in my opinion, SVSU is better than Northern Michigan. So this is truly a game where you can hopefully get things right on both sides of the ball, especially for SVSU defensively. I know that's been truly the part that they've kind of been having issues about. I think you have to also look at Northern Michigan has been struggling defensively, but also has been struggling offensively as well. So let's get into a little bit about these teams, a little bit of key players, in my opinion, heading into this game, and then I'll just kind of talk about why I think one team wins and why I think this game is going to really go down to who's going to be able to finally get stops, and it's going to truly be led by SVSU with Mason McKenzie. He's been decent this year. If I would have to guess, maybe not the season that he's won so far, has 735 yards through the air. Now, he is actually SVSU's leading rusher on the year, 350 yards on the ground. So by himself, he truly has almost 1,100 yards of offense just alone, which is obviously really good. But when it comes to turnovers, he's been a little bit more turnover happy this year. He has 4 receptions on the year, 6 touchdowns though, so obviously not the greatest ratio when it comes from touchdown to turnover. And also percentage wise, he's only about 60% completion rate. I think this necessarily isn't the year that he's been having. He's still extremely talented, he's still extremely athletic, and I think he's going to give this Northern Michigan team quite a bit of issue. I truly think that a lot of these struggles have had to do with kind of the defenses he has had to face, because you really think about the Northwood defense, really good defense that he went up against. Last week, almost ended up leading to a comeback, had a Hail Mary at the end that didn't fall for SVSU. So there's a real possibility that coming off of last week that didn't include the bye, there's a little bit of momentum going for this offense. And speaking of the offense, you truly have to mention a few guys, especially at the wide receiver position. Terrence Brown Jr., 16 receptions, 204 yards. He's actually a running back, but it seems like he's getting used more as a pass-catching running back. He hasn't had a ton of carries on the year, 8 carries for 74 yards, but truly his calling card this year has been through the air. Braden Hill is another wide receiver that has had a pretty good year, 11 receptions for 212 yards, 1 touchdown. And then you have to also mention a few other guys, Michael Jamerson, Tony Kennedy, Zarek Zielinski. Those are a couple of the guys that have had a few catches on the year, at least over 5 catches on the year. Their tight end has only had 2 catches on the year, and then when, again, it comes to running the ball, it's truly Mason McKenzie and Michael Jamerson Jr. But this is an offense that is truly led by kind of a balanced attack. They average 194 yards through the air, 190 yards on the ground, 384 yards total. So obviously it's not a bad offense, has been averaging 28 points a game. It's truly the defense that has been the issue, and it's been the pass defense that has really caused this SVSU team issues, because this run defense for SVSU is actually pretty good, 87 yards per game. Pass is the big difference, though. 323 yards through the air, gives up 32 points, like I said earlier, a game. You're not going to win a ton of games when you're giving up not only that many yards, but when you're giving up these kind of completion percentages. You have Northeastern State only threw the ball 21 times, but then Gannon threw the ball 19 times. Northwood threw the ball 30 times. New Haven threw the ball 39 times. What are we seeing from the last 2 games of their losses? there's teams attacking this secondary. And that's where I'm going to be really interested to see kind of the approach that Northern Michigan has, because Northern Michigan this year has been averaging 19.5 points per game, only 114 yards through the air, 215 yards on the ground. If I'm SVSU, I think this is a really good matchup defensively to get things figured out. Because, one, when you talk about the strength of Northern Michigan, it's truly through the run game. It's truly led by a guy that has been having a pretty good year so far in Noah Dubert, 390 yards, 2 touchdowns on the year, averaging 5.5 yards per carry. Their starting quarterback doesn't have a ton of mobility. He hasn't really ran for anything in Duke Schuvald. He's been more of a pass-heavy kind of guy. He's 54% completion, so obviously not great. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Now, he is a redshirt freshman, so he does have obviously a little bit of growing to do there. But when you come to this team for Northern Michigan, it's truly going to be led by that running attack and having kind of your best part of your defense in SVSU being stopping the run. I think that's going to play a little bit of a favor into SVSU in this game. I also think another thing that's going to play in their favor is Northern Michigan's been giving up about 30 points as well per game. They've been giving up a little bit over 90 yards on the ground, but passing attack has been 228. With this kind of balanced offense that SVSU has, I think they're going to be completely fine if they have to go through the air a little bit. I think you truly trust Mason McKenzie, even though he's been struggling a little bit this year. I truly think that this is a matchup for SVSU to truly get right. I think this is going to be a matchup that SVSU is going to win by quite a bit. I think they're going to get a little bit of momentum going. I just feel like it's been a tough year for Northern Michigan. They just really struggled. They've had opportunities to win some games, especially their first game when they got off to a great start. They didn't obviously do it. This Northern Michigan team has struggling. Now, SVSU has been struggling as well. But going into this game and just kind of what I think about this game, I just kind of trust this SVSU team a little bit more offensively and defensively to get stops, to put up points. And I feel like if you can do that, if you can play better defense, especially against the pass, that's going to really help SVSU continue to get better throughout the year. But I think you're going to get good performances from Mason McKenzie. I think he's going to get right back on track. I think you're going to be able to also get Michael Jamerson involved. I think guys like Terrence Brown, Brain Hill, Zarek Zielinski, I feel like a couple of those other guys are going to have great games as well. So because of that, I have SVSU winning this game. I think they win it decently, in my opinion, maybe like a 2-3 possession game. I think this is going to get SVSU on the right track. And even if they win by a little bit more than that, I think I'm pretty confident that SVSU is going to get this win. Unfortunately, I think Northern Michigan's going to fall to 0-5. I think just kind of what I've seen offensively and defensively from Northern Michigan. Like I said before, I just trust this SVSU offense and defense a little bit more, even though both defenses have struggled quite a bit this year. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did you like what you had to hear? Really appreciate everyone's support. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We'll absolutely do a recap of this game, talk about what happened, talk about if SVSU does win. But that is my prediction. I think SVSU wins pretty handily in this one.